Hello everybody and welcome to this episode of Let's Build. Now this episode is part of a larger series that I'm planning and oh my gosh, I am so excited about it. There's a link in the description to some of my plans that I'm thinking about and I really hope you guys would stop by and take a look. What it is a challenge that I've come up with, and it's a bit of a combination of several other challenges. But yeah, the first phase of that involves building up Newcrest. And so what I'm starting off with is one of these fishermen's shacks. Though I'm not really sure if it looks like a shack, because I think it ended up more looking like a townhouse. But that's okay. I think they have a feel that's appropriate for a rundown type of place. This is actually the second time I'm doing the audio recording for this because the first time I was just feeling kind of sad and discouraged. And yeah, that's not really something you want to sit through. I mean, you guys have enough problems of your own. You don't need to hear my problems. So the basic shape for this is just, a classic gable roof. Some pretty tall lower floors and some short upper floors. A few stairs out in the front. And, some very light wallpaper. I wanted this to look kind of weathered and beaten. And, yeah, it'll start looking more like that as I go on. Of course, getting the shape to start with is always a huge part of the job. And, well, another huge part of the job is just doing fine adjustments and making sure that everything looks like it's supposed to and all hunky-dory and stuff like that. So this house is supposed to have a very old-fashioned sort of feel, a turn of the century, not this century, but the previous one. Kind of look to it. And yeah, so that's what I tried to recreate. And I tried to make sure that this wouldn't look too fancy at all or anything like that, but it ended up being a lot more expensive of a lot than I intended it to. And that's probably because of all the fireplaces that are there. Yeah, so way back then, fireplaces were like your only source of heat. Well, I mean, they had radiators maybe at this time. I don't know. Suppose I could have done radiators, but for the sake of the story, we're gonna do wood-burning stoves, because that also has the chance of leading to disasters. And then this place will really look run down. Laughing at natural disasters. Oh boy. I am one sick individual. So the next part of this was doing the interiors once I had the exterior kind of approximately where I wanted it to be. And I started off by using these really nice wooden floors from the outdoorsy expansion, the outdoor retreat expansion, I think it was called. So yeah, and only some of the rooms have that, and the others are these Victorian parquet floors. Is that how you say it? I don't know. I'm not French. I'm not a Canadian. Gosh, I don't know why I took so many pauses in this thing. Jeez. Okay, come on. What am I doing? Picking my nose? So many of these in this thing. I should probably cut them out. Yes, here I decided that each little thing should have a fenced-in yard to sort of delineate one person's property from the next. And especially for the really tiny houses, in between the two-story ones, they would have these little stove things, these little fireplaces. So maybe after a long day of fishing, they could just, throw one of their catches on the fire and maybe talk with a couple of friends. Like, did you see that big fish? Oh, yeah, that was a really big fish. I caught a couple of clams. I don't know what fishermen talk about. Yes, and I tried to add this little wall back here to sort of make sure that the stairs didn't just stop and there was this random thing. And yeah, so adding counters down below. I wanted to make sure that the counters looked like they weren't too fancy and they looked like they were old-fashioned. But the less expensive counters all look very modern, so that was a bit of an issue. So I don't know, maybe just some of these places will look a little bit fancier than others. And that is okay. I wanted these houses to look like a little bit more cramped, but the problem with that is there's a limit to how many Sims you can have in a household. So the default is 8 Sims per lot, and with this mod that I have, that's bumped up to 15. Still, that doesn't really leave a ton of room for a bunch of Sims, especially if I want to have a bunch of big families coming in to this house. So, not this house, this world. So that's not a really very feasible option. So, just 1 bed per thing. And this will, instead of being like a house for 20 Sims, it'll just be one for 5. Up here, I wanted to put a little bathroom and a bedroom, just so, you've got to have a place to sleep, and I didn't realize that those were toy chests at first, so I had to change them to this treasure chest type thing. I don't think that looks as good or works as well, but it's not, I don't know. I'm not going to be able to use a toy chest. That's important. And I really like these light bulb sculptures. Again, they probably look too modern, but I just like them, and that's good enough. Now you may be saying to yourself, oh my gosh, 2 fireplaces in a single room. Are you kidding me? Well, I did eventually get rid of one of the fireplaces. Yeah, so I was kind of wondering what I would put on either side, and so I ended up changing that to be a dresser. And here, just a few seconds ago, you saw me putting chimneys on things, and you may have noticed that they're in the wrong spot. That is because if I put them towards the front, they wouldn't look right. So, and I know all the fireplaces are in the front, but maybe there was some kind of clever flu mechanics going on. I don't know. I don't know. Just go with it. Just go with it. And that is kind of the whole theme here. Just let it go. Gosh, I should not say that, because then people will start singing that one song that shall not be named. Yeah, this tub is really close to this little counter right there. I don't know why I wanted it that way. I guess I thought it made sense at the time. And I like these mason jars. I don't know if they look old-fashioned enough, but there aren't really that many exposed light bulb options. I mean, I guess I could have gotten one with a lamp shade. But you know, these mason jar ones will have to do. I think they're kind of cool anyway. And here, yeah, I must have had lunch or something before I came back. I don't really remember. Anyway, there was a break there. And now we're just adding some finishing touches, like a little table and some chairs. And some little light bulbs. I don't know why there are 2 fireplaces per room downstairs, but maybe the downstairs is much harder to heat than the upstairs. I mean, the ceiling's a lot higher, so that would make it quite a bit tougher. Pretty soon here, I'm going to start adding some little cracks in the walls and some, so right now, there we go. And some weeds and some little gardening things. I thought about adding bookcases to some of these houses, but then I decided against it because I didn't want there to be that many luxuries. I know, what luxury, a bookshelf. But I maybe the people who live here don't really know how to read. I don't know. Another one of those pauses. I should really cut those out. I don't even know what I'm doing in these. You know, I always think, oh gosh, I can cut this out later. And then I forget to, and then it's stuck there, and I could still potentially do something, but I'm not for some reason. Yeah, so I added a bunch of these little distress thingies, and they came with the vampire expansion pack. They were totally worth it. Expansion pack, totally worth it, just for those little decals. I think they're absolutely essential if you want to make something look kind of shabby. I didn't add any cobwebs or anything because even though I wanted this place to look kind of old and run down, I didn't want it to look like nobody ever lives there or does anything in there, because they're not abandoned. They're just shabby. And just a few curtains here and there. I thought, rugs aren't these guys' style. And I'm sort of adding these cracks to the outside. I don't know if that really makes a whole bunch of sense. Maybe it's just cracks in the paint. But yeah, and then I'm adding these little weed patches. And they're some vine creepers, a couple of grasses, and a dead rose bush on the top. I like layering things like that. Sometimes I'll put a tree in there just to seal the deal. A lot more little roses and scraggly trees. So, yeah, this one build went a lot quicker than I expected it to go. I mean, this one only took 3 hours instead of the normal super long a bajillion for one session. So that's pretty good. So I think a lot of my time is kind of spent with these little odds and ends and making sure that details are good. I mean, you've probably heard it from someone other than me before, but when you build stuff like that, you just kind of keep adding stuff until it looks good. I know they usually say, oh yeah, less is more. Simpler the better. Those people are lying. They lie. More is more. Add more. You'll end up looking way better with erring on too much versus too little. I don't know why that is. But it's pretty difficult to go overboard with things like this. It's very easy to not do enough. Especially if you're trying to make it look all creepy like this. So if you guys have taken a look at the little challenge notes that I've provided with you guys, one of the themes here of this challenge is that it's called The Shadow over Newport. So it's a Lovecraftian inspired sort of deal. And so of course I've got to have some really creepy looking houses that look disused and stuff like that. And this is one of many houses. I've actually drawn up a little map. Well, not drawn, I've kind of filled in a little map of things where I kind of want some of the main things to be. So this neighborhood is going to be mainly residential, or all residential, and it's going to have a couple of sort of lower end type houses. So like this one, and possibly a couple farmhouses and things like that. So there'll be a lot of small bits and bobs. And yeah, we're getting really close to the end here. Yep. So, and I'm really excited to continue building this and get on board with that. I hope you guys have enjoyed this because I really enjoyed making it. And if you guys know what to do. If you guys liked it or anything, just don't be afraid to comment down below or leave a like. Bye!